Hey, hey, Instagram. It's been a very long time, a very long time. Um, I've been in the season to where I have felt like I had a muzzle on my mouth. I felt like I had a muzzle on my mouth, and it's kept me so quiet. The last 3 years of my life, I used to make. I went from making podcasts, YouTube videos, and just being encouraging in any way, shape, and form that I can on social media, and just a season of complete silence. Like, I felt as if I couldn't, like, I just didn't have the words to express and articulate um, all the things that were happening in my life. And I know I'm jumping right into it, in this video, but I'm saying all that to say that the muzzle is off my mouth. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to testify on, the goodness of the Lord and all that He's done for me in my life. I'm ready to share my testimony. I'm ready to just unleash everything that He has placed inside of me. I don't want to hold on to any of it anymore. I went through a very, very rough period in my life here in the last 3 years now. But it was also like seeing the hand of God move in my life in ways I never experienced, in ways I've never seen before at the same time. So it was like a period of brokenness and an open heaven all at the same time. And to experience that and to go through that is wild. It blows my mind when I think about it and I look back on it. But that's where I've been. And in that season, like, I've just, to articulate what I've learned, what I've experienced, and the goodness of God, it's been so difficult for me to do. I felt as if I didn't have, like, some the things that I began to learn. It kind of just shook me in a way that I have never been shook at before, and it opened my eyes to a whole nother realm of who God is, and His great and mighty power, and most importantly, His great love for us. So on this Resurrection Sunday, I felt prompted to partner with what God is doing in my life and take off this muzzle that has been on me for so long, and to use my voice to give Him all the glory. Because of His blood, I am here. Because of His blood, you are here. For those of you who don't know, fitness has always been like a huge, huge part of my life. I've been overweight before in my life, and right after I had my daughter, I also had service connected injuries. I was in the military, I was in the Navy, and I've had 2 back surgeries. And the last back surgery was a spinal fusion. I had permanent nerve damage in my leg, and so I'm dealing with injuries in my body. I've also torn my ACL when I was a teenager, about 13 years old. So even though fitness has always been a part of my life, and being athletic, these are things that I love fitness. I love working out. I love all these things. And the fact that I was able to overcome all of that and get into some extremely good shape, and for a good 7 to 8 years of my life, I just maintained like great physical shape. But when things started to the Lord started to reveal to me that it had become an idol. So working out, I remember I would wake up and crave to work out in the gym more than I would crave to be in the presence of the Lord. And so there are times, so many times in that season of my life where I sacrificed my time for the Lord and went to the gym at 3 and 4 in the morning. And that happened for a while. The Lord didn't let me get away with that for too long. So, but it happened. It happened quite a bit. But I really started to get convicted of it. Now I still would always, get my time in with the Lord, but it wasn't it wasn't what I did. It's the first thing that I should have did, and I started making it become a second thing that I would do after I would work out. And even during that time that I would work out, we can connect with God through movement. I wasn't connecting with God through movement at that time in my life. I wasn't. So the gym was strictly for me. Well, I'm a mom, I'm busy, my baby's still sleeping. I'm gonna get up, go to the gym and work out and do all these things while she's asleep so I can have my me time, right? And so I'll encounter the Lord, at a different time of the day. Like I didn't bring him into that time with me. And it really showed. It really started to show. But the Lord was so gracious to open my eyes to that I asked the Lord, how can I make this right? And so it was at that time that the Lord he led me to switch my workout time from the early morning to the evening. And so my mornings, they belong to the Lord. Like I would not go to the gym in the morning. And I did that for like a year. For a solid year, I did that my morning time was for the Lord. And I would work out in the evenings. And sometimes I didn't work out in the evening. So like what the Lord did in that season of my life was I guess he broke off that love for working out and physical, just fitness and all that. He broke that off because I wasn't inviting him into that like I should have. And I was gonna pause real quick. I was gonna just put this on Instagram, but I'm just gonna load this up to my YouTube and I'm gonna share this on my Instagram story. I'm gonna put this on the 90-day vision challenge YouTube channel. I haven't been on that channel in I don't know how long, but the Lord is awakening dry bones. He's giving life to dry bones, and I know that this is a dry bone that I need to prophesy and raise it to life. This is what the Lord is leading me to do. So anywho, I give myself some breathing room because I was trying to make this quick, and I'm looking at the time. It's 8 minutes and 32 seconds into this, and I'm like, I am not gonna be quick. This is I need more time to talk about this. So back to where I was. After that year, during that year, let me just say that during that year of my switching my routine to the evening, I was dealing with another injury. So by this time, oh, I almost forgot this. Before I really got into that, I had the injury that I was dealing with. I remember it was towards the end of 22 that I prayed to the Lord. I said, Lord, let me be stronger spiritually than I am physically. Now, all right, that's the prayer that I prayed. I'm a warn you right now. Be careful of the prayers that you pray. Be careful of the prayers that you pray. So we're gonna put a pin in that, and we'll come back to that in a few. But that was the prayer that I prayed at the end of 2022, and then at 2023 came around. Yep, that was 22 at towards the end of, actually no, that wasn't towards the end. That was like, I want to say August, September of 2022. Yeah, that was August, September of 2022. But and excuse the noise, y'all. I'm in my garage and there are cars going by. There are kids running around playing. But during that time, I had an injury, which, you know, it was a growing injury, and I didn't really know how to handle it or deal with it or rehabilitate it. So I kind of was just continuing to work out and, you know, do things that I thought were helping the injury, but you know, nothing was really working. And I think this is okay. Yeah. So after I prayed that prayer, right? And this is when the injury came up, because I remember flying to Jacksonville because I had my one of my good friends from the Navy was being commissioned as officer, and I flew to Jacksonville, and it was shortly after that trip I think I had already prayed that prayer. This is August. I'm taking it back. Thank you, Lord, for bringing this memory back on. But I go back. I come back from that trip, and like my growing is I'm having some pains with it. And I don't know if you've ever strained a growing or know what that feels like, but it hurts. It hurts. And ultimately what it is a secondary injury from my spinal fusion. So what tends to happen is you get fused, and then other things, vertebrae, and, you know, your lower posterior chain kind of overcompensates in certain areas with certain muscles, and, you know, things just start to happen, and boom, injury. And that's pretty much what happened to me. But at that time I didn't know what was going on. I just knew I was in an intense amount of pain. Like not only was my groin, but my hip, and, you know, just my lower back, like all these problems that I thought I had overcame and would no longer have to deal with came rushing back. And then I had new problems on top of that. So like the back pain after my spinal fusion, I was good, I was great. But then with the hip and the growing thing, it just, I'm like, Lord, my thoughts are, Lord, are you serious? Like, am I really gonna have to, you know, have a whole nother injury and deal with this, and start all over? I didn't want to do that. But, you know, I kept on praying that prayer, Lord, I just want to be, and I didn't know what I was doing. God knows, but looking back, would I have prayed that prayer? I don't know. You know, that's something that I had to be led by God to do, in which I was, and I did. But, you know, when the Lord shows us all the things that we have to go through to get to where he's taking us, like, we would not elect to do those things. But for God's will and his glory and his purposes to be done, yes, I would do it again. But like me in the flesh, no, absolutely not. Spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And gosh, so I'm still praying that prayer, and as I'm praying that prayer, as time is going by, the injury is getting worse. My left knee has been giving me issues too, and I already had, you know, ACL repair back in the early 2000s, 2003. I was just a baby when I had that teenager, and playing basketball, ACL went out while playing basketball. And so my left knee and my groin are giving me intense problems. Both are popping, both snapping, and my knee it was popping so loud and so intensely that I thought my knee at one point was just going to snap, and, you know, that was going to be my knee. That's what I felt like. That's the muscles and the tendons in my knee is just like a loud snap. And the same with my groin. Like, I'm just having all these issues, and then this instability in my back and in my spine, my pelvis and my core. Like, all of these issues came just rushing in like a flood. And I remember that 8 years prior, having all of these issues, because it was, at this point, it was worse than when my back was going out, worse than me rupturing my disc and having nerve damage in my right leg. The pain that because I was in chronic pain, I want to say for a good 7 years before I had any surgeries on my back. I was in chronic pain. My back would go out. I was physically unable to lift my daughter up at certain times, but like I said, y'all, I really overcame a lot physically by the grace of God to maintain good shape and to strengthen, and just I really learned so much about the body and exercises and things to do to rehabilitate your body and get into better health and better mobility. But to be past all of that, and then to fast forward to 8 years and to be in a situation to where not only are the issues that I have with my back coming back, but I have 2 new complete issues. Like, it just physically, what it was doing to me was breaking me down. So obviously I became less active, and but I still was moving. I still was trying. I was trying to maintain. And one day I took my daughter to the gym, and because she was playing basketball at the time, and I used to love basketball. I don't love it anymore. I still have a love for the game and the sport, but like, I used to watch it faithfully. I used to keep up with the teams and all that. I don't do that anymore. So my daughter, she was playing basketball at the time, and during this time, let me backtrack a little bit. So while my body is breaking down, right, while I'm going through a lot physically, spiritually, something was happening, because I think this is the point I was trying to make a few minutes ago. 8 years prior, all of this stuff going on, like, my mind, I was in deep depression. I was in deep depression when I first had the issues with my back and dealing with the pain. And then not only that, but during that time, because of the pain that I had and was so intense, I was being prescribed narcotic pain pills, and it was an ugly situation. And no, thankfully, it wasn't at the point where, I was addicted to anything, but I knew personally that I was leaning on those pills more than anything, more than exercise, for sure more than God. And I was leaning on those pills to get me through the day, to, get me through the night so I can sleep and just not be in so much pain. But God gave me the grace. He gave me the grace to just be able to put those things to the side and really focus on the physical aspect of it, and focus on, leaning on Him and relying on Him to do the healing, which He did. But as you know, that me being physically broken has been a way for the enemy to come in, right? To slip in. So, and at that time, depression, anxiety, all that stuff was bad. It was bad. It was really bad. And of course, I was married at that time as well. This story may be a little all over the place, but as we continue on, I'm gonna share with y'all details and all the things that God has done, and from different points and periods in my life. So, but yeah, so I was down and depressed. So now we fast forward back to me having the same issues plus the new ones, and for some reason, and it's all because of God and all the work that He's done on the inside of me spiritually, I was still content. I was just as content as I could have possibly been at that during those times. because I knew something was happening. I knew something on the inside of me, that God was doing things that I never imagined for him to do in my life. That all the faithfulness, all the lonely nights, all the tears, all the sowing in tears that I did, all the praying, all the fasting, all of that, I'm seeing his glory just come down into my life despite me being physically broken during this time. So I just was, my eyes and my mind was fixed on the Lord. Therefore I had peace, because that's what his word says. When we fix our eyes on the Lord, we shall have peace. Great peace have they that love my law, and nothing shall offend them. Psalms 119, 165, I believe. And so I'm being obedient. I'm living how God tells me to live. I'm displaying fruits of the Spirit, not making it up, but like I legit have fruits of the Spirit. I'm seeing, I'm witnessing it in myself. I'm on fire for the Lord, yet I'm broken physically. So, you know, like I said, I had peace. I had peace through all of this. It sucked, and yeah, I would have my moments where I'm like, man, this is rough. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to be at this point in my life where I'm just broken and in pain and just trying to, just walking hurts. Walking, I feel so unstable in my body and my hips that I feel like my legs just gonna fall from under me. These are the things that I was dealing with. But yet I still had peace. Yet I still believe in the healing power of God. Yet I still believe God and what he said that he would do, he will do. So back to this story. My daughter, I take her to the basketball, take her to the gym to practice basketball. And mind you, I am on the fast. I'm on the fast at this time. So I'm like, cool, great. Take my daughter to the gym, show her little things, and mom still got it. We get to the gym, we have a great workout. It was beautiful, it was fun, she was learning. And towards the end of that, I had 2 kids come up and say, hey, you guys want to play 2-on-2? And I'm like, no, we're talking, 13 to 16-year-old kids. At that point, I was 35. Yeah, 35. And I said, I can't be playing with y'all children, y'all kids. I can't be playing with y'all children like that. And I said no. But Reagan, my daughter, she's like, Mommy, please, can we please play? I really want to play. I'm like, okay. I hesitated, but then I said, all right, sure, why not? It's more to the story, but it's gonna take us all the way left, and it's gonna make this video even more long. So I'm gonna get back to it one day, but for now, I'm gonna let it go as is. So we play the game. I'm balling outrageous. I'm doing all the things right, all the tricks, all the moves. I scored all the points. I set it up for my daughter to score and to make, to do her thing. She didn't score because the kids were so much bigger than her, but she attempted, she tried, and she honestly did great. It was a great learning opportunity. So we were going to, was it 11? I can't remember what, 10, and you had to win by 1. Well, how did it go? I forgot all the basketball lingo. But anywho, we had 10. I think the score was tied up. We had 10 and they had 9. No, we were going to 11. We must have been going to 11, and we had to get 1 more point. So I did all the tricks, all the things, check the ball. I take 1 step with my left leg, the knee that has been giving me issues. The loudest snap in my body that I've ever experienced and heard happened, and I went down. And my daughter and everyone is looking at me, and they're looking at my knee. My knee is like hanging. I can't lift it up. I can't lift my knee up at all. I look down at my knee, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what has happened? My daughter's crying hysterically. And I will say this, that day while I was at work, and I was thinking about my future with the Lord and how the Lord wants to use me. I didn't know. I'm like, Lord, whatever it is that you want to do, like, just do it. I was just envisioning my future with the Lord, and I felt all the muscles in my legs and in my body tighten up, and I had pain. And so at this point, I went against the spirit of infirmity and another spirit too, but I'm gonna leave that out. I'm gonna get back to that, because full circle, after learning what I learned, I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. But I went after that spirit, the spirit of infirmity, and I rebuked and I bind it, and I just, renounce and denounce all partnership, all of that, right? All the things while I was at work. I'm praying in the spirit under my breath while at work, doing my thing, and then 2 hours later, everything went away. I felt completely normal and fine. So get back to at the gym with my daughter, and then boom, my knee snaps while I'm on this fast. My knee snaps, and that's it. I had to get carried out of the gym to my car by 6 big dudes. They picked me up, carried me out to my car. My dad came and drove me to the ER. They came and got my daughter. My mom got my daughter, and my dad drove me to the ER. And long story short, I completely tore my patella tendon. And remember how I said that, the snapping that my knee was doing, it just felt like it was just gonna snap and that's gonna be it. Well, that actually happened. And again, y'all, I'm mad. Now at this point, I was mad, still content. I'm like, all right, Lord, I don't know what you doing here, but I thought I was, that last back surgery, I thought that was it. I didn't think I was gonna have to have any more surgeries, because we're talking about 3 surgeries now. I've had steroid injections and epidurals and stuff in my back to treat back pain, all this, that, and the third. And I'm like, now my knee again. So now I'm on surgery number 4. And I'm just like, I don't like getting these surgeries. I don't like it. And so I get the surgery about, I want to say a week and a half later, because it takes a little time. I get the surgery a week and a half later by a great doctor. He did his thing. And after that surgery, I remember waking up. When they woke me up for that surgery, I remember screaming in pain, like my leg. Now, this, outside of the 3 surgeries that I've had, I've never woken up like that. Even on my back surgery, I did not wake up screaming in pain. But for this one, I woke up screaming in pain. And let's just say that although my back surgery in the area that I was worked on is so, sensitive and so it's a more complex and difficult surgery, the surgeries that I had on my back, the two surgeries I had. But the recovery time for those was like, to me, it wasn't bad at all. I couldn't lift heavy things for, a period of time. I want to say like a year. And then after that, once everything fused, once everything healed, like I was good to slowly but surely start. And getting back on my feet at that time was so much better than it was for this time. When my knee went out, when I tell you all the issues that I've had in my life got, physical issues got so much worse. This was and slash is the worst recovery that I've ever endured in my life. With my back surgery, I still had both my legs and I can walk. With this, I was on crutches for months. I had the surgery October 4th, and I didn't get off crutches until mid-December. And even when I got off crutches, I wasn't walking normally. I had a limp for months. It took it took months for me not to walk with a limp. My knee kept giving out. It was just in so much pain. And come to find out, my doctor told me, he said, listen, the surgery for to repair your knee is easy. It's a recovery process. For professional athletes, it takes them up 18 plus months to get back up and running and fully recovered. Not even fully recovered, but recovered well enough to where they can start back training and get back out there for their whatever sport that they are in. It takes them at least 18 months. Now, although I was an avid weightlifter and in some pretty good shape, I was no professional athlete. So we're looking at a longer recovery time for me. And, you know, and then we're talking about athletes that have, you know, no prior injuries, you know, in the manner that I've had. So I've had, at that point, 2 back surgeries, an ACL repair, and, you know, I'm dealing with the hip and the knee things. Like, it's just a lot that I had going on. And so to be off this leg, I'm overcompensating on my right leg and my right hip and all these things, my arms, everything hurts from the crutches all the time. Like, it was just so much. All right. And when I finally got off those crutches and I started walking, I walk with that limp. I'm just like, Lord, what are you doing? What are you trying to teach me? Now, this is when things really did start to get me. Depression did creep up. And it got, I say I had 2 very, very dark months. And it was just dark. It was just very dark. But as dark as it was, I still was resting and it's just, you know, relying on Jesus. I had nobody else. I just couldn't rely on anyone else but the Lord, because he's the only one who truly knew. And during this time that I was going through all the things I was going through, I had started leading this department in my church. And I'm going to be honest with you. I said, Lord, while I'm at my most brokenness, my broken physically, you want me to lead spiritually a department in my church? Like, why, Lord? Why couldn't I lead when I was in tip-top shape, feeling great and confident in myself? And, you know, because at this point, this is now, although I was content and resting in the Lord, what started coming over me was like the spirit of intimidation and like this muzzle on my mouth. So I could not talk about, you know, the things that I had been going through. I couldn't do my podcast anymore. I couldn't get on YouTube anymore. I didn't feel the desire. I didn't feel the urge to do it. And that's because, you know, one, I took a break from all of that because the Lord was doing something spiritually within me, and it was good, it was needed. But then there came a point to where it's like, man, I kind of need to detail all of this and, you know, tell the people what I've been learning. At that point, I couldn't open my mouth. At that point, you know, speech impediments that I had when I was younger, that I overcame, started to come back. I'm talking stuttering. I'm talking like a lisp, a full-on lisp, like I couldn't even speak. I may still have somewhat of that, but you know, speech therapy did wonders for me. But for all of that to be coming back up, I'm like, what is going on? So like, spiritually, things are happening, right? God is, and then the blessings and let me not jump too far ahead, but all these things are happening simultaneously. And I said, well, you know what? The stuff that I'm learning right now, maybe, you know, it's a good thing for me to be quiet. And it was a good thing for me to be quiet. But then at the same time, when I did need to use my voice and, you know, share my testimony, I wasn't able to do it. And so that's a problem. So I didn't attack that like I should, because I knew and I could see what was happening spiritually in that aspect, but I kept getting distracted by my body, and things was just so bad. Excuse me. I was just in so much pain. All I could focus on was like the pain that I was in at one point for 2 months. And then on and off that third month. But then God finally got me out of it. God finally got me out of that, and it took, to get out of that darkness, it took the death of someone that I truly admired spiritually. And they were just such a bold, audacious woman of God, mighty woman of God for the Lord. And I didn't even know her personally like that. I had hopes of getting to know her personally and working with her, and things, we would communicate and things were happening, but she got taken in an instant, just like that. And she left such a great impression on me, not just me, but thousands of people around the world within our church. She just left such a huge impression on us. And dealing with the battle that she had cancer, and she overcame that cancer, and then boom, a sickness came in and took her out just like that. And it reflecting on her death and the battles that she faced within her body. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm facing battles within my own body, not of that term, not of cancer, not of that type of disease, but of an ailment, of brokenness, of. So I know that battle, and I know that's a hard battle, especially to overcome something, and then you come out of remission, or you get another injury or re-injured. Like it's a battle that you want to stop, but it keeps on going. You keep on. You just stay in this battle with that, and I don't like this battle. I don't like it. But maybe it's whatever the Lord is using this battle to teach me. Sometimes, at times, I feel like I've been wrestling with God, and my hip is to remind me of His goodness. The pain that I feel in my body is to remind me that He is good, and it is, and it does. I know it's hard to even understand how it does, but it does. Because I remember being in tip-top physical shape, and I wasn't concerned with the Lord like I should have been. And I lived like that for years, but it's when the Lord really started doing a deep work around 6 years ago in my life that, things in my body started kind of going south. And then, especially with me praying that prayer, to be stronger spiritually than I am physically, and all that just came, to a head. And I can honestly say that the things that the Lord has taught me during this season of my life have been so transformative, have been, I never would have imagined that the Lord would move in my life the way that He has. And so it brings me to now where I am. And the Lord has been, He's been talking to me like, hey, Nadia, daughter, what are you doing with what's in your hands? And I'm like, Lord, I don't really want to get on the podcast again. I don't really want to get on YouTube, especially right now. I'm not in the shape that I want to be. But He reminded me, He said, He showed me actually, and how I just described that at the most broken time of my life, I'm being asked to lead spiritually. And I didn't want to do that, but I did it. And I'm so glad that I did, because it changed me. I grew so much spiritually. And now I'm being I'm being asked to do other things, and it's just a new season. A new season. I'm going into a new season, and at this time in my life, I'm like, Lord, I feel so like just. I seen a picture of myself today from a good friend, and nothing wrong with the picture. I don't want anything. Like I'm not. I used to be the type don't post or send that picture anywhere. But to me it doesn't matter. I thank the Lord for breaking me out of that. But when I looked at myself and I'm like, Lord, how did I get like this? How did all this weight get on me during this time? Like for so long it didn't come on me. It's been 2 years since I've been able to work out and do all this stuff. I just last month, a month and a half ago, was able to start back working out and moving after 2 years because the pain has been that bad. And so for the longest, that weight stayed off of me, but then out of nowhere, overnight, it feels like I just blew up. And I'm like, 20 pounds in, 15, 20 pounds in. I'm like, Lord, it's hard for me to look at myself now. Like, it's really hard for me to look at myself. I'm not enjoying how I look. I'm not enjoying getting dressed because I used to be able to just put on clothes and go, not worry about it. And now I'm like, so I have to pick and choose and fine tune this, that, and the third. And it's not fun. That's not how I want to live my life. But now the Lord is, calling me into a season where I'm going to be, out there and on display for His glory, not mine, for His. And I'm just like, Lord, out of all the times where I mean, even when I started leading in the previous season and I was broken, I still was fine. I still was all right because I didn't have all that weight on me. But now I'm like, why you want me to come up and get on stage, pray, do all these things? And I'm just like, I don't like how I look. I don't like how I look. But it's not for my glory, it's for His. And so the Lord He likes to use us in moments where we just wish that we could go back into hiding. The Lord likes for us to take our pain and He turns it into purpose, right? I don't know what the Lord is going to do in my life. I don't know. I have prophetic words. I've seen visions and glimpses of the things that He's shown me of what's in the future. I've seen glimpses of it. But ultimately, I don't know how the Lord plans to use me. I don't know what the Lord plans to use with my YouTube channels, with my podcast. I just know that I have to use what's in my hands. I just know that I have to take this muzzle off, break partnership and agreement with it, and just use my voice for His purposes, for His glory. Share my testimony so that people can be delivered by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. That is how people are delivered. And so when I seen that picture of myself today, I said, man, I just look so like full, so round. And when I said that, I heard, you are full. You're too full. And then I screamed. I screamed because today I have not ate anything today. At the time of that picture, I had nothing in my stomach. I still haven't eaten today. But yet I'm not hungry. But what the Lord was showing me is that For the last 3 years, I've been quiet, and I've been getting fed and fed, learning revelation after revelation, and I have not shared what I've learned, and I'm too full. And it hasn't been on purpose. I was dealing with intimidation. I was dealing with, feeling like I don't know enough. But I know I don't know it all. None of us know it all. But I know something, and what I know it can help somebody get out of the pit. What I know, what I've experienced, what I've seen, what I've tasted and seen the Lord do in my life, I know that it can inspire someone going through similar circumstances to hold on to their faith and their hope in the Lord, and trust that if He did it for me, He can do it for them. So what I'm basically saying is that I'm on a journey to lose 15 to 20 pounds, to grow in authority, to step into the authority that God has given me, and to use my gifts and talents in a way that's pleasing the Lord, to be obedient and do whatever the Lord is telling me to do whatever is in my hands, use whatever is in my hands. I'm on a journey to do those things. And Habakkuk 2, gotta write the vision and make it plain. I'm a document, everything that I'm doing, and I'm just gonna talk about, things that the Lord leads me to talk about, what I've learned, what I've experienced, and my goal is to hopefully, is to motivate you and to push you to step out and do what the Lord is calling you to do, to step out and make that change, whether or not you need to lose weight yourself, and to encourage you to just really think about your body as a temple, and make better choices and better habits so that we can glorify the Lord with our bodies. So we won't be out of breath when we're praising and worshiping, so that we can, kneel and receive from the Lord, and worship Him without our knees crack-a-lacking and hurting and stuff. But also so that we can overcome lies of the enemy, insecurities, and break agreement with the lies of the enemy, with what the devil says, and to partner with the word that God has over our lives, to partner with what the Lord says, with who the Lord says we are. So I don't know how it's going to look, but I do know that I'm doing this with you all. And if you want to follow me, you want to join this journey, then I'm going to post my YouTube channel, the 90-Day Vision Challenge, 90-Day Vision Transformation Challenge. I might change the name. It was about 4 years ago when I came up with that, and I'm going to redo that. I have no clue of how it's going to look. But I just know I need to use what the Lord has already given me. I need to be a better steward of that, and just use what's in my hands. This shirt says misery is temporary. This is my shirt. I have this company, Spirit Over Flesh, the Spirit Over Flesh movement. I have not done anything with this except for make these t-shirts. I got 3 rough copy drafts of this t-shirt. Never sold any of them. I just couldn't get the design right. I need to partner with somebody in the kingdom some creative in the kingdom. But this right here, this saying means a lot to me. Is this for me came from, this is what I took out of reading 2 Corinthians 4:17. And I'm gonna just read that real quick. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. So to me, that our light affliction is temporary, it's momentary. Everything that we experience here on this earth is temporary. Sometimes our temporary experiences last longer than what you would think is temporary. But we have to remember that everything that happens on this side of heaven is temporary. Eternal life is on the other side. And the scripture goes on to read, while we do not look at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal. The devil wants us to focus on our current circumstances that blind us from the end goal, which is eternal life, that blind us from giving God the glory, that blind us from preaching the gospel, that keep us muzzled because we can't get our minds off the pain in our bodies. We can't get our minds off the circumstances, off of the betrayals, off of all the things that has happened to us. We can't seem to get our mind off of it. And because of that, we don't fulfill our destinies. So no matter what it is that you're going through, no matter what it is that you're dealing with, like, this life is temporary. So although you may have pain, although you may be struggling with things, give God the glory at all times. Drop down and give him glory. Because all of this is for a moment. And what it's doing is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory on the other side when we get to heaven. And you'll see a lot, you will experience a lot of glory here on earth as well. When you overcome and you persevere and you get through whatever season that you're in, when you get through, when you overcome and you get to that new level of glory. Because we have to remember, a lot of us see the good of the land and the land of the living. But all the pain and turmoil in the world, all the things going on, like, keep us blinded and keep us we forget that we have experienced the good. We forget it because the pain, the current circumstances hurt so bad. It's too much. It feels like too much that we can bear. When it gets like that, that means we're not giving it all to the Lord. We're not abiding in him. We're not resting in him. So get back to that place of rest and abiding in him, because we can do nothing apart from him. And let the Lord use you. Let him work in you. Give him all the glory out of your life, out of your pain. Use your pain as your purpose, to feel your purpose and testify about the goodness of the Lord. God has brought me out of a lifestyle of homosexuality. And from homosexuality, I got into a marriage that for 9.5 years was not ideal. And a lot of things happened. A lot of betrayals, heartbreak, and trauma happened within that marriage. And it ended. And God has restored my life since then. Just knowing what the Lord has done for me, how he's transformed my mind, renewed my mind, transformed me. It's like a 180-degree turnaround. And I know that I'm about to see another 180-degree turnaround, going to this new level of glory. I'm gonna put on new wineskins, because the things I've done in the past no longer work for where I'm going now. The Lord is doing a new thing in my life. He's doing a new thing in your life. So ask the Lord for eyes that see, ears that hear, eyes that see, so that you can perceive the new things that he is doing in your life. Ears to hear his voice, and to be obedient, and to move when he says to move, and to do what he says to do, and speak what he says to speak. That's it. That's all I got. So if you want to follow along, join my YouTube channel, subscribe. If you want to, I also have another channel that I believe the Lord is waking up to. It's called Spirit Over Flesh. I don't know the Lord's plans. I don't know what he plans to do with that YouTube, and also my podcast, Spirit Over Flesh. I don't know the Lord's plans. I just know that I'm doing what he tells me to do. Like everything that I thought I knew to do, I don't know. It's out of my mind. So I'm gonna do what the Lord is telling me to do. It's been so much revelation, so many good things that God has done in my life, and I can't wait to share it with you all. And thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. And here's my gym, my home gym here I have. See that? God has blessed me tremendously. This right here is a dream. I got a house. Lord blessed me to buy a house during all this time, and do a few things that, a few dreams here and there, a few blessings here and there that the Lord has given me, the steward, that I'm very thankful for. But only difference is now all of this belongs to the Lord. I now encounter God through movement, which I didn't before. I do now. And inviting him in to my workouts has been like, it's been beautiful. So hopefully I have, and with these t-shirts, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something with this. But misery is temporary. Everything on this side of heaven is temporary. So we really need to keep our eyes fixed on the Lord and on things eternal. This video turned out to be much longer than I thought it would be. If you stick around to listen to the end, thank you. I look forward to getting on here and speaking and doing and demonstrating and partnering with the Lord and what he wants to do for this channel and for my life and for you all. So like I said, I'll go into more details about everything that's been going on and happening in my life. But until then, y'all, until next time, that's it.